Hey guys, Team here, the Critical Virgo. Welcome back to another Fragrance Fridays. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. Just so you know, I do put timestamps to everything down below. So if you don't want to see something, fast forward on to the next thing or find whatever you're looking for. Before I get into this fragrance, I'm going to do a little bit of chit chat. Some of you like it, some of you don't. If you don't, then you know what to do. Go forward. I have been missing in action for the last 2 weeks. I know some of you missed me. I really wanted to enjoy the week leading up to my birthday and my birthday week. And trust me, I did. Probably a little too much, and I'm sure I'll be paying for it for some time. I lived out my fat girl fantasies. I ate all the food, I drank all the drinks, and I ate all the cake, and I loved every minute of it. So I have no regrets. But yeah, definitely gotta get back into my swing of things and, you know, work on getting rid of some of that fat girl fantasy I put on. But the fragrance, some of you guys like to know fragrances that people wear. The 2 weeks leading up, I really didn't like do a whole lot of sampling. I just really wanted to enjoy like stuff that I have. So I found myself going for two main staples in my collection. And I know some of you are probably tired of hearing about it, but the week before I found myself reaching for Profumo Bromas Confetto more. And then the week of my birthday, it was like all about one of my favorite designer fragrances, Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. I love them both. They're both really deliciously warm scents. Probably not the best choices for how hot and humid it's been. It's been raining a lot around here, but hey, it's what you want to wear, right? So I enjoyed it. Let me get into this though, because that's enough chit chat. I am going into some Diptyque fragrances. I received this box from a subscriber slash friend like back when I first started this channel. There's supposed to be 3 samples in here, but only one of the little boxes that look like this had a fragrance in it, and it's Florabellio. I really want to say Florabello because it just seems weird that there's an I in there, but whatever. And yeah, it's just, you know, a little spray bottle, spray vial, and I didn't go through the whole thing. And you'll know why. You'll know why in just a little bit. So staying true to form, let me give you guys the notes and then I'll get into it. It's really simple from what they had listed, but I'm sure maybe more complex. I'm not sure. The top is marine notes and then sea fennel. The heart is going to be some apple blossom and osmanthus, and then the base is going to be some roasted coffee and some toasted sesame. The things that I noticed the most in this are going to have to be the roasted coffee, which reminds me of like opening up a fresh bag of whole bean coffee. Not that pre-ground stuff, and I'm not talking about buying the whole beans and grinding yourself, which is what I do at home, but whole bean, a fresh bag of roasted whole beans, coffee beans. And I also get a lot of like the sea fennel. So that's very salty, briny, kind of vegetal. It's like aquatic. I know they listed marine notes, whatever that is. Perhaps that's just the feeling you get from the sea fennel, or maybe it's some, you know, synthetic thing that they've added and maybe they amplify each other. I'm not quite sure, but there's definitely a very briny, salty component to this, which I like. It's interesting. And then also the apple blossoms. I don't know how many of you have been exposed to like orchards in your life growing up, you know, apple picking, or even like before the apples form when you would have blossoms. But if you haven't, they're white and like pink. They vary in color a little bit, but not by much. And depending on the variety of apple, that's the type of smell you're going to get. In general, the general smell of them would have to be closest to like a rose. That would be the best way to describe them. And the intensity of that smell would depend on the variety of blossom, because it's not just like one particular type. It follows the type of tree it is, okay? So I do get like a rosy component to this in addition to the salt and the coffee, which is really cool. You guys know how I feel about like rosy type scents. I really enjoy it. Unfortunately, this fragrance, it starts to dry down really quick. Like I'm talking 10-20 minutes. And then it gets a little weird on me. I'm left with this muddled combination of like saltiness and faint florals. And then it also gets a little funky because like osmanthus on me, it's really hit or miss. Sometimes I love it, but then there are other times, because it can have like a little bit of like a stone fruit quality, which is also hit or miss on me. This one goes just like a tad sour on my skin, so I didn't really enjoy it. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. It's like this, I don't know, it leaves like this really sharp smell in the back of your throat when you inhale it. Like you can taste it, and it leaves like this smell in your nostrils, even though when it dries down, it's not like this projection beast. When you make the effort to go, it just stays in there, and it's really sharp. And if you're like offended by this smell, I could see you getting like really frustrated because you can't really escape it because it's just in your nose, you know? Thankfully, longevity, I mean, it's not the best. It's about 5 hours, you know? So you don't have to live with it forever. The fragrance starts with a bang and then dies off fairly quickly. Again, keep in mind I am in South Florida, and the weather here is way different than in a lot of places. So maybe if you were in a drier climate, it might last longer. Definitely take that into consideration. Sillage on this is like nothing. I really gotta get my nose up to my skin to smell anything. I have a really difficult time saying like what season this would fit best into, or versatility for seasons. Honestly, just because of like how this fragrance is, it makes me think more of like warmer weather. Maybe like summer, because that aquatic bit makes me think of like the beach and whatnot. And then the apple blossoms, just because of my personal association with apple blossoms, it makes me think of late summer, like apple picking season, like now. Like this is apple picking season, but obviously the blossoms come way before the apples do, but I just associate the two together. So it makes me think of like the whole summer just as a whole. Versatility. Oh, I really struggle with this one. I don't find this fragrance to be particularly sexy. So if a man wore this on date night, I would just be like, oh, get away from me. I would not feel confident wearing this on date night. And the way that osmanthus hits and the apple blossom mixed with that saltiness, I could see a lot of people not liking this. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and say don't wear this one to work, even though it doesn't project a whole lot. You know, I know like something like this, people like to touch up a lot. It's just a, I don't know, recipe for disaster. I can't co-sign on this one. For gender, I think it's really neutral. I could see both genders wearing it if you choose to wear it. Because the coffee, the sea fennel, it really adds a nice masculine touch to balance out like a lot of those florals. It doesn't lean feminine or masculine in any way. It's very balanced in that regard. That's probably the only way it's balanced. The pricing. So you could find a lot of people selling this fragrance. Like, I don't know if they bought it blind, but there's a lot of barely used full-size 100 ml bottles going for under $100. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then, you know, obviously you can just go through the retailer, and it's 140 bucks for a 100 ml bottle. I would have to go ahead and say, having just said the thing about the bottles, I would not recommend blind buying this one at all. No way. I don't know a lot of people who like this fragrance. I haven't heard much about it, but I really just can't see a lot of people wanting to wear this, especially at that price point. You know, it's been fun to play with and sample, but overall, it's a hard pass from me. Again, I couldn't even go through the rest of that sample. Like, I've given it a few wearings, a few tries. The first time I was like hopeful, because usually I'm a little quick to judge when I first try something out, but like, I've given it a few wearings and I just can't get behind this one. It's just, it wears too funky on me. Interesting, but definitely hard pass for me. You guys know I love hearing from you, so if you have any questions, comments, you know where to put them. Till next Friday. Bye guys.